Hi, it's Tina Brinkley Potts, and today I'm here with Candace Barnes. And Candace, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Tina. It's so good to see you. Thanks for setting this up. I'm excited. Wow, tell you a little bit about myself. I feel like I'm on a whirlwind, so I'm going to try to hone myself in. I am an author, and I'm a
Mm-hmm.
coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I am an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
and I do writing in a variety of different styles. Work with clients both locally here in Washington, D.C., is where I'm based, but throughout the United States and also internationally. And I create content, do website development, do all kinds of different stuff. And I think probably the thing I'm most excited about is that I have allowed myself to grab a hold of this thing that I love, which is writing, and to go for it. And I'm amazed at what has come as a result of making a choice to decide that I was going to be a writer and go for it.
Okay, okay. So writing is your passion then?
It absolutely is my passion. It's been my passion for about 40 years, to be honest, really since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I got published very early when I was young
Mm-hmm.
and have had publications throughout my life, but I never really let myself go for it as something that I was going to do.
Okay.
And I made a decision a couple years ago to do that, and it's paying off, and I'm really grateful.
So writing was something you knew how to do well. You've been doing it for a long time, but you've just now because, and I'm kind of plugging a little bit because I
Sure.
have I have this event, that is how to get paid on what you know, right?
Yes.
And so this is something and now you're just taking a whole lot of different ways that you can get paid from what you know.
Absolutely, yes. And I definitely make use of some of the things you taught me.
Mm-hmm.
The power of one, wow. If you all haven't seen that, you need to find out, bug, do whatever you got to do to get Tina to let you see the power of one, because that right there will light up your life. I'm telling you, it's exciting.
Yes,
Excuse
yes.
me.
Okay, but let's get back to you. No more
Yes,
shameless
yes, yes.
plugs, no more plugs. But so, tell tell people that are listening right now what is the most common mistakes. And let's stick to three because we could talk about this all day.
Yes,
But
we could.
let's just stick to three. If you are, trying to grow your business quickly, online, what are the biggest mistakes that you see?
Absolutely. So when I go to somebody's website, because that's usually how we find people, if I want to know something, the thing that I do is go to a web browser, typically Google.
Mm-hmm.
So when I type in Google and I'm looking for whatever I'm looking for, a coach, a plumber, for that matter, whatever comes up in Google is going to be where I go. So when I go to Google and the top hits come up, I
Mm-hmm.
usually go through a few of them. And the things that turn me off the quickest is when I land on a website and it's way too busy. It's got so much going on that I don't know where to go. I
Mm-hmm.
am out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if it says, for example, if I listen to somebody and they say, go visit my website, www.website.com, I go there and I get to the site. And again, I don't know what it is that I'm supposed to be learning or finding out from that website. I leave
Mm-hmm.
because all of our time is precious. We are bombarded with email and newsletters and all kinds of stuff every day. We constantly are getting information overload.
Mm-hmm.
So I want it to be quick and easy.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I would say is make sure when you're creating your website,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that it is focused so that people are going where you want them to go. Whatever you're specializing in, that's the thing you want to make sure that your clients can get to, or otherwise you're going to lose them. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
The second one is definitely related though, and that is making a good first impression. And the difference is it sounds the same, but there's a distinction. And what I mean by that is, so you've gotten somebody on the website. Suppose you do have it focused and you have them knowing where you want them to go, but then you've got spelling and grammatical errors. I'm telling you, for me, that is an immediate turn off. It
Mm-hmm.
may not be for other people, but for
Mm-hmm.
me, it if you don't take the time to get the spelling and grammar on your site correct, what that says to me is that you aren't paying attention to details, and maybe you aren't going to follow through in the way that I want you to. So present your best foot forward, show up in excellence,
Mm-hmm.
and that will make a difference.
Yeah.
And then, probably the third thing that I think is really important to do when you're creating a website or designing a presence is to make sure that you really give a message that is compelling.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody comes to your site, they're going to come. Again, they're going to look for you. They may find you,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to give them something that's going to have them stay around. If you've gotten the focus, so you got them to stay, you've gotten them to click through, your content is good and it's excellent, but then you want to make sure that as you take them through and they continue to read through your site, make sure everything there is something that represents you well. And not only on your website, but also your web presence. If somebody were to Google your name today, what would they find with your name attached to it? So think about that as you're posting on Facebook, per se, or on Twitter. Think about the comments you're making, because once something is on the web, it lives there forever. So
Right.
just be mindful about that.
Well, yeah, that's definitely like one of the first tips that I give when I'm teaching people um, when they're looking to build or make more money as an expert, per se. The
Sure.
first thing you have to do before you start sending out press kits and all of that kind of stuff is, yeah, that's the message you're sending them. But if I'm going to do my due diligence on you, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to look
Yes.
at Google and see what's there. And if what I see doesn't match what you're presenting, you're not going to get my business. It doesn't work that way. And that's how most corporations are. So don't think just because you're sending this nice little package to them that that's all they're looking at. They want to see what's coming up when they Google your name.
Absolutely.
So that's a good point. That's
And people
definitely a
will
good
go look you up on Facebook. They will. And they
Yes.
will look you up on Twitter. And if your name is the same that you're putting out in your business as is on Facebook, you might want to be clear about what's showing up on Facebook and be mindful about that as you're launching your business.
Yeah, definitely being genuine. I mean, for me, it's about being who you are all the way around, every day,
Yes.
all day.
Everywhere. Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Bottom line, you don't have to fake anything. You don't have to try to be something you're not. Just be who you are everywhere you go. That's all you
That's
got to
true.
do. That's it.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
then you don't have to guess, right?
Yep,
Yep.
exactly. And you don't have to think, wait a minute, what story did I tell over here on Facebook? And oops, did I say something over here on Twitter that somebody's going to get upset about? Or wait a minute, my website is, yeah. So if you consistently are yourself all the time, everywhere, you don't have to think about it. It's like our parents used to say, when you tell a lie, you got to remember the story.
Yeah.
If you tell the truth all the time, everywhere, to everybody, you don't have to remember. It's always the same, and you're on safe, good ground.
So, Candace, why don't you tell me a little bit about your clients or, some of the work that you've done for them?
Sure. Great question. I have been very, very fortunate as a result of really making a decision to go after what I was passionate about. I've been really fortunate to really attract some great clients. I am working now with a multiple New York Times best-selling author who came and found me as a result of the work that I was doing because it felt good to me. I didn't go after this person. They sought me out and hired me to join a writing team with them. So that was exciting. Because of confidentiality, I won't disclose particular projects, but in general, the work that I do with clients ranges from reviewing websites and doing editing, creating content. I also do what's called ghostwriting, where somebody who's really got some great ideas and got a great story, but they just don't have the time or maybe even the writing skills to be able to put it down. I'll do the writing for them, and it may go out in their name or it may go out with a byline. So, for example, Tina Brinkley Potts with Candace Barnes. You've seen that. So that may be that's something that I do. I also write, like I said, write content. I do some blogging. I do different articles. I am doing editing. I do coaching for people who are writers, as well as for entrepreneurs and business owners that are seeking to create content for themselves. So I do a wide range of things as it relates to writing. But the bottom line is everything I do goes back to that thing that I'm most passionate about, and that is the written word.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what would be if you were if you were telling someone right now the best thing that they could do to have the biggest impact? Because as you can see, you're having a great impact. I can tell, and you're excited and you're passionate about what you're doing. So, what would be the biggest tip that you could give?
Really, Tina, the biggest tip that I could give, and it's something that I learned from you. I had heard it before, but it was something that happened in conversations that we've had repeatedly, and that was be yourself. I have a column called Sacred Musings that I produce, and it started out as something that I was doing just because I needed to get some ideas that I had out. And what it ended up becoming was an email newsletter that I sent out to a few friends that grew into a few more friends. And now it goes out. I send it out to over 100 people through email. It also goes out on my website as well as through Facebook. And every single day, I meet another person who tells me that they forwarded it to two friends and who's forwarded it to two friends. So really, this thing is going around the world. And it just started out with me wanting to write some thoughts and get some ideas together about how to connect body, mind, and spirit. We're constantly overwhelmed, and most of us really are not living in our heart and living from our passion. So this was my way for me to really think about how can I get all of me connected and working in concert with each other. And just from doing that, and being consistent about it. Sometimes it's daily, sometimes it's less than daily, but it is regular. Being consistent about that is how I got this client. And again, the client came to me. I didn't go looking for the client at all. And I've had other things to come to me as a result of this. So, number one, bottom line, be yourself. Do what matters to you. Say what's true for you. Speak what lights you up. Whatever makes you happy, if you do that, the universe is going to reward you richly and abundantly. There's no reason not to. There is only one you. Nobody else can be who you are. I don't care if you're an identical twin. There's something about you that's slightly different from that other person. So be yourself. That's the bottom line.
Yes, and I'm not going to say anything because I think you said it all. So, normally I would have something to say on this topic, but I'm not this time. But, you really, though, I think you really hit on one of the biggest things because we are all, like you said, bombarded with so much information.
Yes.
And that will make you stuck when you're trying to be some way that somebody else has told you to be and it doesn't resonate with you.
Absolutely.
So when you start doing that, you begin hitting these walls and you're wondering why you can't get that done. And it's because you're trying to be something else that you're not meant to be. That's not who you are. The greatest thing I could tell a lot of people today is that most millionaires that are walking out there today go on stage with no darn shoes on.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And these same people that everybody's trying to copy and become, they are already doing that thing. Yeah. Oprah is already Oprah. Right. You can't be Oprah.
Can't be Oprah.
I can't be. Yeah, I can't be Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison got Toni Morrison down. I can only be Candas Barnes. You can only be you. Right. Copying is the best form of flattery, and it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to get started. Many of us have heard Oprah's story. She got started in broadcasting copying Barbara Walters, and then one day a light bulb went off and said, "Oh, wait a minute, Barbara's already doing Barbara. Let me do Oprah." Right. Same. Copying, yes. But at some point, you got to have your own voice. You got to find out what matters to you, and you got to put that out in the world. Because otherwise, it's going to be a cheap imitation, and it won't ever succeed.
Right. It won't go to the level that you can go, and you'll always be hitting on a wall because you're trying to be somebody that you're not. So
Exactly.
all of the, stuff of, you got to dress this way, you got to talk this way, all of that, be you. Just be you, whatever that is. So that, I think that was a good tip. So what do you feel is the most important thing about effective copy or content?
Most effective is keep the main thing the main thing. So decide whatever your point is and stick to that point and talk about that point and elaborate on that point and then get to completion. You don't want to go on forever because, again, we're bombarded every day with way too much information. So say what needs to be said and then be done with it.
Yep.
People don't have a lot of time. So
Yep.
they want to know. If you're good at it, you can hook them and they'll stay with you. But really, most people, you can't even keep them anymore with 500 words. So you want to keep the main thing, pick one topic, stick to it, be clear about it. The other thing that I would say related to that is if you're using terms or things that might be jargony or things that have multiple meanings, make sure you create a definition. What is writing to me or communication to me may mean 500 things to 500 different people. So when you're using the terms that matter in your business, make sure that you find ways to explain to people what you mean by those terms, because otherwise you'll be talking about apples and they'll be thinking about oranges. So
Yeah,
make sure.
absolutely. So, and I think another great way of saying, just elaborating on what you said, first and foremost, do not write like you're writing a term paper. Don't write like you're doing a resume.
Yes.
We've been in business for 25 years and blah, 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 blah. When people are coming to look for you, they are looking for a solution to their problem. So
That's
the
right.
best thing that you can do is show them how to solve their problem.
Right.
Stick to that one thing. Like you said, you can have a page per thing if you want, but don't bombard people with everything because you just want them to know you do 50 different things. It doesn't work that way. If you got to sort through the clutter, people don't want to see it.
That's right. That's right. And that was a really important point. I mean, I kind of started out with that when you asked me about my bio. I went into how long I've been doing it. Bottom line, somebody who needs help with writing, they don't care if I started writing yesterday or last week. If I can help them be able to communicate their message effectively, that's what they care about. So whatever you do and you do better than anybody else, focus on that, highlight it, whatever you think the person is looking for you for, give them that message, and that's what they're going to hook into. They don't really care how long you've been doing it, who you do it for. Right. Can you solve my issue? Right. If you can do that, I'm good.
Yeah, because like, for instance, in this conversation, you gave 3 things that you find are the biggest mistakes. So anybody that was listening to this, they're going to go, did I do that? Oh my, you know what? I'm doing that. And then they're going to go back and look at it. And so now they're going to want to know why. And see, that's the way it works. If you're just giving all of the surface stuff that, really doesn't have any meaning, that can't help you further your business at all.
Exactly.
At all. So, Candace, why don't you tell everybody how they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. My name is spelled a little bit different. So anybody who's listening, want to make sure you have a pen or a way to re-listen to this because I do have a unique spelling. So my name is Candace Barnes. My website is CandasBarnes.com. And that's spelled C-A-N as in Nancy, D as in David, A-S as in Sam, B as in boy, A-R, N as in Nancy, E-S, CandasBarnes.com. You can also connect with me on Facebook, and that's at Facebook.com/Candas, C-A-N-D-A-S, the wordsmith, because that's who I am, a wordsmith.
Cool. So, can we mention the other Facebook, or is that a secret?
Oh no, you can talk about all of them. It's fun.
Well, I think that because I think that's a good one. I mean, it also goes back into being who you are and enjoying life. So why don't you talk about that one too?
Sure. So I have a great new Facebook page that I launched just for fun, really, and also to celebrate the wonder and magic of life. You know, a lot of us spend a lot of time in the down in the dregs and mired in the muck. And I decided I wanted to do something that was fun and that was going to bring some light into my life and other people's lives. So I have a new page called I'm Loving My Life. And it's spelled a little odd because it was already taken, but so it's IMLUVING, my life. I'm loving my life. So loving is just spelled with a U instead of an O. But it's a fun page, and I do updates about what's going on for me and try to find out what's going on with the rest of the world around things that are just bringing you joy. That's what it's about for me, is doing things that bring us joy, because that is what makes the world go around. There's enough darkness, and we need your light.
Yep, absolutely. So, Candace, thank you for taking the time with me today, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, great. Thanks, Tina, so much. Talk soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.